On the heels of World Cancer Day, a new study coming out of the UK is linking higher rates of colorectal cancer to obesity and alcohol consumption in younger adults. Now, similarly, here in the United States, the National Cancer Institute reports alcohol consumption could increase the risk of colorectal cancer by 50%. And nearly 42% of our country is considered overweight. We want to bring in NewsNation medical contributor and board-certified cardiologist Dr. Dave Montgomery. Dr. Dave, good to see you on this Monday. We know being overweight and drinking a lot aren't good for you, but I think this study catches a lot of people's attention because it makes you wonder, okay, well, how much drinking is too much? What's the answer?
Yeah, no, good morning to you, Markie. And you know, we in the U.S., the study was a study in the U.K. We in the U.S. are saying, is that something that applies to us? And the answer is yes. And we've been following this trend, this concerning trend of an increase in colon cancer in this age group, below the age of 50. That hadn't been the age group that we sort of think about cancer in. And in our societies, our practices are similar enough that we should be taking this as a cautionary tale, this trial, and saying we've got to make cancer screening a priority. Now remember, this is not gloom and doom. If we get to these things early enough, then there's a lot of hope that we can reverse the trends.
Yeah, we have to be proactive, be our own, best advocates. And, this isn't the first time we've seen cancer tied to alcohol use. Numerous studies cite alcohol consumption to various different kinds of cancers. How exactly does drinking alcohol increase your risk of getting cancer?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. There are a couple of mechanisms. There's one breakdown product. As soon as alcohol is broken down at the cells, it's called acetaldehyde. That can be toxic to DNA. When DNA gets toxified, you can have cancer. But it's really the binge, Markie, that I want people to think about. A binge clinically is 3 drinks or more in a 2-hour period. And it's the oxidative stress. Think about the corrosion that occurs when metal and water get together with oxygen, right? You can kind of have a corrosion. If you get too much oxidative stress because of the overload of alcohol, you can damage not just DNA, but cellular products as well. And then you can develop cancer.
And when you talk about, binge drinking, I know there are a lot of people who just heard you say that and say, that is me. There are some people who do that a couple times a week, just on weekends, once a month. I mean, at what point is the binging too frequent to be worried about a study such as this?
Well, I mean, there are some purists, in the medical field and in science that will say any binge is too much. And I don't think that everybody thinks about binge in the same way. So the clinical definition is literally 3 servings of alcohol within a 2-hour period. And there may have been periods in your lives, maybe much younger, where that seemed like child's play when you had much more than that. But that's where the toxicity is for U.S., right? So when we compare U.S. to places like Italy or France, believe it or not, there is more binging, although alcohol may be a part of life and sort of normal dinner and meals. Earlier in life in those countries, they don't have as much binging, and I think the binge is the problem.
Okay, and then lastly, what about obesity and its link to colorectal cancer?
Yeah, well, so, we talk about oxidation. Well, this is about inflammation. We think that people who have obesity, even if they feel fine, have a low-lying level of inflammation where the fat cells themselves are making all kinds of cytokines and inflammatory products. Those can damage both DNA and the cell surface, and you can cause cancer from that as well. So these are things for us all to be thinking about in terms of what to do. We've got to get our diets right, don't smoke, moderate our drinking if we should drink at all. And then go and get screened. That's a lifestyle piece that we all should be thinking about.
Okay, we'll fold in a few more cardio sessions and a few more glasses of water this week just to keep our risk at bay. Dr. Dave, always good to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.